Hey, hi. How are you? Good morning. Good evening. Um, it is interesting to be back. I'm excited though. I'm happy. Feels weird to say back because I'm not really back anywhere. In the same spot. I always am. I am bevied and baked. I have an incense burning per usual. I don't know why that's my thing, but it's just become kind of a ritual. I don't recall what this one is. I'm so sorry. It smells delightful though. And then I'm drinking a an outrageous beverage. I don't recommend anyone drink soda. Just drink water. It's good for you. Do I listen to my own advice? Literally never. But I'm drinking a Mountain Dew Purple Thunder. It says with a blast of berry plum, natural and artificial flavor. It's got some cool artwork on the can. I literally bought it based on the can because purple's my favorite color. And I was panicking in Circle K when I went back to the cooler and I was like, ooh, I just gotta grab soda. And I saw it and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it. It's cute, but I'm not gonna buy it again. But it's just tasty, a little treat sometimes. It just makes me, it really makes me want to brush my teeth immediately. I don't know how as a kid, hear me out. Okay. I grew up as a kid in like the mid 2000s ish, yeah, around there. And like, I drank soda. It was fine. And I feel like growing up in that era, it was so advertised to us constantly. And it was like with every single movie. And I mean, maybe it is that way now, but I don't watch as many commercials on TV as I did then. But you see commercials in that day and age. And it was just constantly blasting all of the new soda that came out. Anyway, long story short, I'm not going to go on that tangent forever. But I do enjoy some just regular, Mountain Dew flavored soda. It's kind of nostalgic for me, actually. Brings me back to being a kid. Ooh, it kind of tastes like Mountain Dew Midnight. If any of you remember that, oh my gosh, that was my favorite. It came back for a while, I think. Unfortunately, I have a hard time remembering a lot of things. Also, it's really hard to find them right now, but I have a little vapey boy with me. So if you hear me vaping, sorry, not sorry. We're living our lives, right? And it's part of the experience. It's what you come here for. We're hanging out and we're talking about, you guys, we're talking about base jumping today. Speaking of base jumping, I'm going to hit my vape. Y'all. Why do I say I'm not even from the South? It's just really fun. I love saying y'all. It's fun. Don't hate me. Y'all. I run away. I run away from you, ball face. All right. So anyway, vapey boy. I can't decide if I'm like wanting to give you the ASMR experience or if I don't want to do that. Sometimes I might. Sometimes I maybe won't. You're just going to have to deal with it. All right. Vaped. Baked. I'm going to drink soda. Why does it give you such like a thick... Ooh. I hit the mic. I hit you in the ball face. Why does it give you such a mouthfeel? I don't understand that. Should I do an episode on that? Man, I feel like every episode I come up with my next episode in my intro. Anyway, so I'm really sorry I haven't recorded in a really long time. To me, it feels like a really long time. It's been, I think, like 6 days. I've really, really, really wanted to. I started this research last week and I was super hype. And then like a bunch of stuff happened. I'm not going to get into any details, but a bunch of stuff happened and I went through a really rough time, and all is well. But it's just not, it hasn't been fun, and it's going to be a lot of work going forward. Like a lot of work. It's tough, guys. It's tough out here for people. Ugh, the world is awful, but the world is great at the same time. And we get to hang out and live our way through it together. Oh my gosh, I saw something really cute today. And it was like a picture, and it said, or maybe it was somebody who commented, but it was like, all of us are just walking each other home in life, right? We're all just walking each other home. And I was like, oh yeah, it was a post about a letter to a guy in the army in World War II. And it was like 1940 something. 1940, I don't know, don't quote me. But it was 1940, and it was stamped deceased on the front, where the wife had tried to send the husband a letter, but it got returned to her stamped deceased. And oof, that picture crushed me, for one. And then it showed pictures of the letter where you could read the letter, and it was her and her son Bobby. Ooh, yeah, her name was like Betty Lee something. But anyway, it was just so sad. And I don't know. Where was I going with that? You probably know, but I don't know because I can't hear you as much as I wish I could. Like the episode of the movie Bruce Almighty, where he hears all of the like prayers. Imagine if I could hear you guys all like listening to this and in your mind commenting on what oh man, we could be conversing somewhere. All right, I'm not doing a reading today. I've done a lot of readings lately though, and I'm feeling really good about it, and I'm feeling more studious with it and more interested in just connecting with myself and growing that, I guess, connection in a weird woo-woo way. Not an ooh-woo way, a woo-woo way. Amy. I'm so sorry you guys have to put up with how weird I am. If you enjoy it though, I'm happy. All right, moving on. So, speaking of like kind of sad stuff, I kind of was like, oh, I'm having a tough time. I still really want to zing and say, don't sue me. Spice Girls, I love you. But I really wanted to do this episode, and I've been wanting to, and I've been really sad because I haven't been able to. So I'm really, really excited to be here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, you guys. It's not probably for you, but it is for me right now. Yay. Oh man, it's part of being this stoned experience. I guess I kind of understand why people edit episodes now, but I was talking about something and then time distracted me. We're just going to get into it. I'm going to talk about a sad story, but then I'm also going to talk about the sport of base jumping. But the sad story is what prompted my mind to think about all of these things and research this episode. And now I'm going to hand deliver it to your earballs. All right. So this episode was prompted by a video clip that I saw. It was a video of a woman, and she was base jumping off El Capitan in Yosemite National Park. And this is about a 3,600 foot drop. This video was dated, or I think actually, man, I can't remember if it was a video or if it was a photo of a video. Regardless, it was a photo. I'll reference. I saw a picture of a video, and it was dated October 22nd, 1999. And it was timestamped at 1:20 p.m. This shows 60-year-old Jan Davis leaping from a cliff. She's wearing a black and white jumpsuit, and her pack is clearly visible and appears to be secured well. Seemingly, things are off to a great start. However, this video was filmed just moments before Jan fell to her death due to a faulty parachute. Jan was part of a group of 5 people at Yosemite National Park that day, there to base jump in protest of a proposal to ban the practice. She jumped in full view of 150 spectators, who included dozens of reporters and photographers and her husband. According to an article written by Sabin Russell on October 25, 1999, following the incident, Davis was known as the First Lady of Angel Falls because she was the first woman parachutist to jump the 3,200-foot Venezuelan waterfall. She and her husband, Hollywood stunt photographer Tom Sanders, led adventure expeditions to the falls. It also says in this article that Davis jumped with borrowed gear whose ripcord was at the jumper's leg rather than at the chute's backpack. In view of the expert parachutists, this is about the worst mistake you can make. Or in the view. Did I say that right? You can't tell me. Another base jumper during the time chimed in about the whole incident. He suspected that Davis, in the instant of adrenaline rush that often accompanies a leap of such magnitude, Davis may have simply forgotten the location of the cord. Another writer bitterly attacked the National Park Service, blaming rangers for Davis's death, and that Frank Gambale III, who drowned on June 9th, while fleeing rangers who were attempting to confiscate his parachute. Why did I put a weird inflection on this? But he was running away from rangers in the park, and he unfortunately drowned after he did a jump in this area. She also said that Frank would not have jumped into the raging Merced River, and Jan would not have jumped El Capitan with borrowed gear had it not been for continuing persecution of base jumpers by the National Park Service. So sorry. So this jump was staged following the death of that previous jumper. This jumper had successfully parachuted off the peak, and he had drowned in the river below, trying to escape from the park rangers, like I said before. This took place in June of 1999. Jan and the 4 other people were there at Yosemite National Park in October of 1999. I'm so sorry I say They were there to show that base jumping could be carried out safely, essentially. Unfortunately, this protest did not go how they had planned, and Jan was the 4th person to jump or leap. All 5 of them had prearranged and had agreed to land in a designated area, jumbling over my words. A designated area selected by park rangers, who would then arrest them and then confiscate all of their equipment. According to Scott Gettiman, a spokesperson for the park, said that they agreed ahead of time to land in a designated area, allow themselves to be arrested, and forfeit their equipment. We give them a citation for illegal air delivery, and the U.S. magistrate sets a fine, traditionally about $2,000. Witnesses of this incident claim that Jan was not using her own equipment that day because she really did not want her own gear to be confiscated when she landed. Apparently, it was a different system than hers for activating the parachute, and in base jumping, there isn't a whole lot of time to activate a backup parachute. Also in the article, it mentions that other jumpers had stressed that their sport is one of the individual responsibility. Regardless of how wrong NPS policies are, this is a quote from those jumpers, or from one of them. It says, regardless of how NPS policies are, or how wrong they are not to blame for Frank's death. We, the base jumping community, decided to hold this protest to jump. We didn't have to, and she didn't have to jump in it. She chose to. As I mentioned before, Jan's husband, Tom Sanders, was there that day of the protest, and he witnessed her death. According to the LA Times, he slumped into his camera in grief after she fell. Tom Sanders did an interview with CBS in 2000 where he said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up because it's just really sad. But he said in this interview, quote, "I saw her exit. I wasn't concerned for her safety. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but there are jumps that I was worried about. This is a very, very forgiving base jump, and yet she died there. As far as I could tell, she had a good, stable exit. There was never any tumbling, and she just continued to fall and fall and fall. But when she continued to fall, and once I saw the trees come into frame, I knew it was too late. It was awful, and I lost my best friend." Oof. That's big. Big. Tough. Yeah, just an awful situation. And that's what brought me here to research and kind of get, I don't know. My questions started pouring in. I, first off, don't know a ton about the sport of base jumping. So naturally, I was curious about what that all entails. But during my research, I came across a lot of people online that truly believe that people who participate in the sport know that it'll eventually kill them. Statistically, each jump you do, you're closer to death. Jan was part of this community. Happily, she loved it. Part of me thinks that she knew and accepted these facts. Hopefully in some way that means her husband also had some awareness as far as how dangerous the sport can be and inevitable death can be. Though I do not understand, I do understand the quote unquote, "it won't happen to me," or "I'm safe when I do it," or just a lot of that mentality that we as humans go through generally with a lot of things in our lives, right? I'm sitting here drinking a can of Mountain Dew, and I know it's awful for a lot of my organs, right? But I'm choosing to do it. And statistically, with every can that I drink of Mountain Dew, that would be could be the cause of my death, right? Oh man, this is the fun part about being high while I'm here with you guys. I'm really sorry if you can't be, but if you are, I'm glad that you can chill with me and just hang out and we can talk about stuff. But again, I do understand that mentality. Every day I choose to, again, get in my car and drive to work. That too statistically means that if I do it enough, it might eventually kill me. My other questions, though, were how large is this community and how many people have lost their lives, even the ones that maybe we don't know about? How did this sport start and how common is it today? These are questions that may seem silly, but really, I don't know nothing. I know nothing about the topic, or at least I didn't. I do now. And now you hopefully get to too. I don't know if I said it before, but base jumping is the sport of jumping from high, fixed objects and then using a parachute to get around or get to the ground. Get around too. That works. Another form of base jumping is wingsuit base jumping, which is also pretty popular. Base jumpers only carry one parachute. Base jumping is significantly and more hazardous. Why do I keep saying and? Base jumping is significantly more hazardous than other forms of parachuting and is widely considered to be one of the most dangerous extreme sports. Base itself stands for building, antenna, span, like a bridge, and earth, like cliffs. These, of course, define the locations where base jumps are typically executed. Fausto Veranzio is widely believed to have been the first person to build and test a parachute by jumping at St. Mark's Campanile in Venice in 1617 when he was more than 65 years old. Imagine strapping on a parachute that's never been tested before at 65. Good for him, honestly. Live your life, bro. However, oh, wow, I stuttered. Did you hear that? That was like a brain glitch. and you're here for it, and I'm not going to cut it out. You're so welcome. However, these and other sporadic incidents were one-time experiments, not the actual systematic pursuit of a new form of parachuting. In 1966, Michael Pelkey and Brian Schubert jumped from El Capitan in Yosemite National Park. A man named Carl Bonisch, a filmmaker, was an important catalyst behind the modern base jumping, and in 1978 he filmed jumps from El Capitan made using ram air parachutes and the freefall tracking technique. While base jumps had been made prior to that time, the El Capitan activity was the effective birth of what is now called base jumping. Carl Bonisch, Bonisch, poor guy, I'm probably just butchering it. He continued to publish. I am so sorry, y'all. I gotta remember to jump back from the mic sooner. Also, I hate to say it, you're gonna have to hang on. I'm ditching the Dew and I'm switching to Diet Coke because I feel like somehow the Mountain Dew is really messing with my throat. I need to remember to put the cursor where I am on my page. All right, guys. I feel like that might be a little bit better. Or maybe it's just the fact that I'm talking a lot and I was going to say I'm not used to that, but I totally am. I'm a talker. Sorry. All right. So this filmmaker, Carl Bonisch, continued to publish films and informational magazines on base jumping until his death in 1984 after a base jump off of Troll Wall. By this time, the concept had spread among many skydivers worldwide, with hundreds of participants making fixed object jumps. During the early 80s, nearly all base jumps were made using standard skydiving equipment, including 2 parachutes, a main and a reserve, and deployment components. Later on, specialized equipment and techniques were developed specifically for the unique needs of base jumping. Talking a little bit more about the equipment, base jumpers use a single parachute harness and the container system. Since there is only a single parachute, base jumping containers are mechanically much simpler than skydiving containers. The simplicity contributes to the safety and reliability of base jumping gear by eliminating many malfunctions that can occur with more complicated skydiving equipment. Since there is no reserve parachute, there's little need to cut away their parachute, and many base jumpers their harnesses do not contain a 3-ring release system. A modern ultralight base jumping, oh my gosh, I'm adding in words, base jumping. A modern ultralight base system, including parachute, container, and harness, can weigh as little as 3.9 kilograms or 8.6 pounds. When jumping from high mountains, base jumpers will often use special clothing to improve control and flight characteristics in the air. Wingsuit flying has been... sorry. I'm not from Canada, but you would think. Flight characteristics in the air. Wingsuit flying has become a popular form of base jumping in recent years, allowing jumpers to glide over long horizontal distances. Have you ever seen, by the way, videos of them? I know you probably have. I don't know. But it's insane. It's really, really cool. They're like little flying squirrels. It just looks really fun. Not for me, but it looks so fun for them. Good for them. Anyway, tracking suits inflate like wingsuits. This is another type of suit, tracking suits. They inflate like wingsuits to give additional lift to jumpers, but maintain separation of arms and legs to allow for greater mobility and safety. In more recent years, recognizing the sport's growing appeal and the potential for high-impact marketing, companies such as Red Bull have stepped in to sponsor athletes. further elevating the sport's profile. I feel like I vaguely remember watching something like this on MTV or something. I don't remember. Or like Red Bull TV. What is that? I don't remember what that was on. I don't know. But I feel like I remember seeing competitions or like events where they were jumping off cliffs and stuff, but not with parachutes. All right. Anyway, so an interesting thing that I found was, according to Wikipedia, upon completing a jump on all 4 object categories, so base, like the buildings, antennas, spans, and earth, a jumper can apply for quote unquote a base number. And this is awarded sequentially by Rick and Joy Harrison. This can be found on basenumbers.org, and it charts the chronology of base numbers. The term was coined by Carl, base number 4, and Gene Bonish, base number 3, Phil Smith, base number 1, and Phil Mayfield, base number 2, regarded as the forefathers of modern base jumping. And in 1981, Carl began issuing sequential numbers for those who completed a jump from each of the 4 categories of objects, should they choose to apply. You can actually just go on and apply today if you have done this. Have any of you done this? If you have, totally comment. Man, that'd be so cool. If any of you guys have like had any of the experiences with anything I've talked about, comment. Oh my gosh, I would love to like interact and talk to people about this stuff. It's so fun. Also follow me on Instagram, and I'm on Threads, and it's so fun. It's all under like Lax Unpacks Pod. Anyway, okay, going back to it. I would love to talk to you people though. You people, you're my people. If you're still here, you're my people for sure. All right. Going back to my question of how large is this community? I found that there are actually quite a lot of local clubs and groups that exist all over the world, but there are a few notable organizations. So number 1, we have Base Jumpers Association, and this is known as BJA. Number 2, United States Parachute Association, and this is USPA. They oversee skydiving and they also have guidelines for base jumping. We have also World Base Federation, WBF, Base Jumping Safety Network, known as BJSN, and then Base Jumping World Cup. This is an event rather than a governing body. The fun side note with this is it's not an annual competition. The dates actually vary a lot. So apparently there's one coming up, and this is for canopy piloting, which is a form, I think, of base jumping. This is going from September 7th through the 14th in Eloy, Arizona. I hope I didn't butcher that location. But there's also a World Cup in accuracy landing, October 24th through the 30th. If you happen to listen to this episode, that's all in 2025. So if you listen to this episode right away, you could go participate. You have enough time. Maybe. I don't actually know if that's for sure. You probably have to sign up like way in advance, actually. But anyway, these events are going on. So if you want to like watch or participate in seeing them, you can go ahead and do that. That's when they're happening. But I did not see a location for the October 24th through the 30th one. But you can also find all of these events on usparachuteteam.org, which is cool that there's like a whole website, usparachuteteam.org. Anyway, overall, it's apparently a smaller community compared to other extreme sports. I kind of believe that, I guess. But it has a very, very dedicated and passionate following. I totally understand that. Also, a lot of jumpers are involved in skydiving, apparently, not just base jumping. They often connect on social media and through events. And it tends to lead to a close-knit environment. Kind of through all of my research, I saw everyone talk about how close they are, as the community, which is really cool. I love that for them. I think I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the talent, of course, and technique that goes into this sport. With all sports comes a need for immense knowledge and a lot of talent. Reading the Wikipedia page, it said that there's 2 categories. I didn't know, but there's 2 categories for base jumps as far as height goes. There is low base jumps, and those are where the jumper does not reach terminal velocity, sometimes referred to as slider down jumps because they are typically performed without a slider reefing device on the parachute. The lack of a slider enables the parachute to open more quickly. Other techniques for low base jumps include the use of a static line, direct bag, or a PCA, which is a parachute assist, or pilot chute assist, sorry. These devices form an attachment between the parachute and the jump platform, which stretches out the parachute and the suspension lines as the jumper falls, before separating and allowing the parachute to inflate. This enables the very lowest jumps below 60 meters or 200 feet to be made. It's common in the UK to jump from around 50 meters or around 150 feet due to the number of low cliffs at this height. Base jumpers have been known to jump from objects as low as 30 meters or 100 feet, which leaves little to no canopy time and requires an immediate flare to land safely. Many base jumpers are motivated to make jumps from higher objects involving free fall. High base jumps are those which are high enough for the jumper to reach terminal velocity. High base jumps are often called slider up jumps due to the use of slider reefing devices. High base jumps present different hazards than low base jumps. As we know, with a lot more height and airspeed, jumpers can fly away from the cliff during free fall, allowing them to deploy their parachute far away from the cliff they jumped from and significantly reduce the chance of objects striking. However, high base jumps also present new hazards, such as complications resulting from the use of a wingsuit. There's also tandem base jumping, which I did not know. Did you know there's tandem base jumping? This is when skilled pilots jump with a passenger attached, to their front. It's similar to skydiving and is offered in the US and many other countries. Tandem base is becoming more and more accessible and legal in the form of base jumping, as a form of base jumping. There's a website called tandembase.com. There's a website called tandembase.com. I don't recommend this sport. I don't recommend that you go to this website and book something. Use all of the skills that you have in your mind to make decisions. Do not do anything that you hear from me. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And I tell you, I wouldn't do this, you guys. But also, if you want to, totally do it. Totally do it. But just do your research, right? Make your decisions. It's a very big decision. But anyway, you can go to tandembase.com. And if you want to look at for yourself, right? Like if you want to make a decision. So I went to this website because obviously we know research. In the about section of the website, it says, quote, unquote, this is a quote from them, the people who own it. We are literally the, gotta love them, right? Quote, we are literally the godfathers of tandem base and have over 10 years or more, 10 years oh my gosh, why can't I read this? We are literally the godfathers of tandem base and have over 10 years of experience, or 10 years more experience than any other company. Oh my gosh, if I would have just continued, I would have been fine. I got stuck on like one part of that sentence. Anyway, going back to the quote, make your first base jump with the confidence only achieved by attaching to a highly experienced base tandem instructor, ! You will leap from the 486-foot Perrine Bridge in Twin Falls, Idaho, and softly come to rest in the beautiful Snake River Canyon. End quote. They also go on to talk about the first tandem base jump, which I thought was pretty cool that they put that there. They write, the first tandem base jump occurred on March 20th, 1983, off of Westgate Bridge in Melbourne, Australia, by Timothy Cousins. The passenger was Shane Sparks. Closely following was the second in 1984 by Ted Strong from the New River Gorge Bridge in West Virginia. The years since have been sprinkled with tandem base jumps being made around the world from various objects, proving the viability Concurrently, the Magic Valley has become an increasingly more popular base destination as the Prime Marine Bridge has the fortunate convergence of good altitude, large landing area, easy access, and an encouraging community. It is with great pleasure that we say that the Magic Valley loves base jumping and that base jumpers around the world love Magic Valley. Excited spectators commonly ask how they can participate in the base jumping experience and have always been told that hundreds of skydives are needed prior to learning base jump. Wow. Hundreds of skydives are needed prior to learning to base jump. In 2009, Kistner, Mashal, and Chuma began discussing and prototyping the equipment necessary to perform base jumps using the tandem instructional method. The result is the first purpose-built tandem base jumping equipment. End quote. All right. So now we know a little bit more, right, about base jumping. Do we? I feel like, okay, something weird happens when I record because I'm reading. So I'm not like really paying attention to what I'm reading. Does that make sense? I don't know. I am, but I'm not. But I know what I'm saying. But it's really weird, you know? It's really weird, you guys. It's so weird. All right. Hopefully we know a little bit more, right? But I won't lie. I absolutely understand the thrill of adventure, the experience. It must be magical. I wish I was the person that could do it, but oh boy, ooh, not for me. I'm good. If you want to do it though, go ahead. Absolutely, you do you, boo. Oh, but yeah, anyway. I do kind of know why it's not for me. I have a lot of anxiety. I don't know if I've said that probably, I think, but I have a lot of anxiety. And it's estimated that around 300 base jumpers have died since the sport began its modern form in 1978. Many jumps take place in remote areas, so the likeliness of them being well documented is kind of slim in those areas. I think that's what hits me the most. I do hope that anyone who jumps has someone with them. And if they don't, like if they have to go solo, I feel like it's so hard to determine just how many people just simply haven't been found. But hopefully everyone who jumps has family and people who love them and check in on them very frequently and all of that, and at least get closure if that does happen. But I do know that the successful jumps, they greatly outweigh the deaths that happen. Similar, to like cars. I could talk about 300 accidents. But 300 car accidents over the course of, since 1978, that would be like a miracle. But also not as many people are base jumping as they are driving, right? I'm getting on a tangent, y'all. Y'all. Sorry. It's my new favorite. Leave me alone. All right. So anyway, I don't know. That's all. I hope it continues to advance and get safer and safer, and technology continues to improve and more people get to enjoy it. And I don't know. Open the door. Have you guys ever seen that video of the guy who's on the Nest camera, and he's like in the face of he's really in the, oh man, he's so up close. And he's like mumbling. And I thought I remember hearing that it was like a dad at the door of his daughter's house in the Ring camera. And he was like, open the door. Open the door. So now, yeah, if you ever hear me just go, open the door. That's why. Go watch it. Try and find it. Good luck. It's going to be a fun time. All right, bye. I love you guys so much. Okay, bye.